Okay, so welcome to Creation Therapy. We are in week 4 of our class. So welcome back. Tonight we're going to talk about the sanguine. But before we do anything with the sanguine, I want to start off with prayer and then review everything we've covered so far. So, Father, we thank you for today. Father, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for this class. We thank you for this great opportunity that not many have, Father, and that's to take time to learn more about you, learn more about your word, learn more about who you've made us to be, and learn more about ourselves. We thank you for all the knowledge that we're gaining, that it will remain in our memories, it will remain in our minds. And we thank you for tonight. In your name we pray, amen. So, before I get into sanguine, let's review. Temperament, how many areas? 3. What is the first one? Inclusion, control, affection. Okay. What is inclusion? Social setting. What is control? Decision making. What is affection? Deep personal relationships and passions, right? Okay. Now, each area is divided into 2. Which is expressed and wanted. What is the express? That's the action, right? How you act, what you show. What is wanted? Reaction, right? That's what you expect in return. How you want people to treat you, how you want people to love you. Yes? Okay. Melancholy. What do we know about the melancholy? Reserved. Genius prone. Loyal friend. Very moody. They have that depressed temperament. They're known as the black temperament. Yes? What else? Self-sacrificing, disciplined. I'm sorry? They think a lot. Nothing but thinking, remember. Okay. What about the choleric? Manipulative. Very strong temperament, very visionary, very dynamic, very insensitive, very intelligent. There's no filter, remember? So that thinking that the melancholy has, the choleric does not have. What else? Unforgiving. Practical, yes. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about the sanguine, which is completely different than everything we've talked about. And I'm going to say that about every temperament because every temperament is completely different. So in your graphs is at the top left corner, right? And the sanguine is people-oriented. Okay? If there's one thing you need to know about the melancholy, I said was thinking. Right? If there's only one thing you learn about the sanguine all night, it's going to be people. The sanguine loves people. They need to be with people. They need to see people. People has to be somewhere. I have a younger sister who is sanguine compulsive in 2 areas. And when she's home alone, she will have the TV on in every room. And that is because she needs to hear voices so she doesn't feel alone. Now, all the melancholies are looking at me like I'm crazy, but it's true. Okay? That's the sanguine. The sanguine needs people. Okay? So they're very outgoing. They're very extrovert. They're really good at communication. Okay? The sanguines are the perfect to preach, to give speeches, to give presentations because they like color. They like moving. They like involving people. Okay? They're not the dictator that it's all about me. They're the ones that when they're teaching a class, they're sitting down like the rest of the class because I want to be part of the group. I want all of us to be together on the same level, right? Whereas the melancholy was this is my bubble. That's your bubble. Everybody stays in their own bubble, right? The choleric was, this is my bubble. I like this bubble. I really like this bubble too. The sanguine is, we're all in one big bubble. Okay, the sanguine has no problem with that We all share things. We're all family here. We're all friends because they're very extrovert. They're very outgoing. They love being the center of attention. Okay, and remember, this is general terms. So in general terms, the sanguine loves to be the center of attention. Coming into a room, they melancholy, you wouldn't even see them. They would come in with their book and just, hello, how's everyone doing? Okay. The choleric isn't carrying their own book. The choleric's like, get that for me? Thanks. Right? The sanguine's like, oh my God, I'm sorry I'm late. So I went to Starbucks, right? And I was going to get a coffee because I always get a coffee. But then what happened was, meanwhile, the melancholies are sitting there like, I paid for this class. Can we start? Yeah, no, I'll get to it. So I'm getting the coffee, right? And there's this guy in line, right? So he's on the phone, and I'm guessing he's talking to like his wife or something like that. But then so what happened was, because before I went to Starbucks, I was in the car, right? And I was listening to the radio because I went to Walmart, right? Because I needed a shirt, right? Because what happened was I went to lunch, and I had a burger, and it had ketchup, and then I got ketchup on my shirt, so I had to go to Walmart to pick up a shirt, and then I needed a coffee, so I went to Starbucks. So the guy's on the phone with his wife, right? And you're sitting there like, I'm sorry, what's the story about? Wait, what happened? That's the sanguine. It's all about the people. It's all about the emotion, how I felt when it happened. So the interesting fact about the sanguine is, when I said about the melancholy, remember I said they like facts? The melancholy likes facts, right? The melancholy is all about, this is what happened, how it happened. The sanguine is none of that. The sanguine is about the feeling. So the sanguine is the one that says, oh, there was, if I was a sanguine, right? You would ask me, how was class tonight, Natalia? I have 50 students. And you're sitting there, you know, the room doesn't hold 50. But it felt like 50. But then tomorrow, when I tell him the story, I have 80 students. But then next week, when I tell her the story, I only had 10. Why? Because it's the feeling. It's what it felt like. I felt like I had 50 students. I felt like I had 80 students. I felt like I had 10. So whereas the melancholy is all about the facts, the sanguine is all about the feeling. How I felt when it happened. Okay? So again, they're very extrovert, they're very outgoing, and they're very responsive. The reason why they do that feeling is because I'm seeing if you're with me. You know, if I tell you that there was 50 students and you're like, oh, okay, then I'm thinking, well, that's not a good feeling. That's why next time when I tell a story, I say 80. And if I say 80 and he goes, that's a lot, that seems like an impossible number. Well, that's not a good feeling. Which is why next week I'll say 10. And if I say 10 and he goes, oh, that's a great number. Okay, 10 works. I like that feeling. So I'm going to stick with 10. Because it's all about the feeling, okay? So they're very responsive. They like hugs. They like handshakes. They're able to make people feel important. The sanguine is perfect for, it's perfect for the melancholy when the melancholy is in that downward spiral. Okay? Because remember how I said that the melancholy would get into a downward spiral, into a nobody likes me, nobody loves me. The sanguine's like, but I love you. I'm here. Right? So the melancholy's like, okay, well, I guess one person loves me. Right? So they'll slowly start going back up. And that's because the sanguine has that's a good strength of them. They will make you feel important. And you are. They love people. So everyone is important in their eyes. Remember, for the melancholy, everyone's more important than me. Right? For the choleric, look at me. It's me. The sanguine, we're all God's creation. We're all beautiful. Look at us. This is the best class I've seen. That's the sanguine. So they'll make you feel important because you really are important to them. Okay? So they're very warm and friendly. They're the life of the party. They love people. In inclusion, which we said was social setting, these are the people in the grocery store saying hi to everyone. This is the one in the shopping cart like, oh my God, I like your shirt. Where did you get it? Saying hi to everyone. Or, I'm sorry. So, again, random story. They'll go into, so I'm thinking about making dinner tonight. Hello, perfect stranger. I'm thinking about making dinner tonight. Chicken or fish? Because I have a friend, and they'll go into this whole rant. And they become friends with anyone. The sanguine will just find any person in the street and become best friends with them. Because they just love people. Okay? They're very talkative. One thing about the sanguine is what I've been doing so far. They go into rants. Random rants that you have no idea what the story's about. Because the melancholies are still trying to figure out, well, what coffee did you order at Starbucks? Right? The melancholies are like, all right, you say you went to Starbucks. What happened? And the sanguine's like, I'm sorry, who went to Starbucks? I forgot. I forgot where I was going with that. Because the sanguine is just about whatever was happening. Very talkative. They'll just talk. That's all they do. So, and they use a lot of adjectives. What that means is they use a lot of descriptions. Remember, it's all about the feeling. I won't tell you just, I went to Starbucks to get a coffee. There's a whole story that goes into how I ended up in Starbucks and why I got the coffee I got, right? Because there's a story to everything. The reason I drink coffee instead of tea is because my mother and this, and it's just everything has a story. Everything's just everywhere. You have no idea how to follow a sanguine because they're just gone. That's the sanguine, okay? So they're very enthusiastic. They have no problem starting projects. Just like the choleric. You know, when I said, okay, if I came in and I said, I don't like this ugly blue, we're going to paint it. The sanguine's like, oh, painting party, I'll get the pizza. They're just there for the party. They're just there for the people. They don't care about the color of the room. They never even realized this was blue. The sanguine is like, wait, there's blue here? Where did the blue come from? Right? No idea. All they cared about was the people. They just saw people. So they saw an opportunity as we're all going to paint this weekend. We're going to make this into a party. Let's get some soda. Let's get some chips. Let's get some pizza. And they'll never do the job because they're too busy with people. So the choleric is now mad because no one's painting. The melancholy is not here because the melancholy is thinking, I have homework. I have a wife. I have kids. I have a dog. Why am I painting a room that's not even my room? Why am I here? The choleric is, let's just get this over with. Let's just paint. The supine is doing the job, and we'll talk about it next week because the supine will do somebody else's job for them. And the sanguine's not doing anything because they're having fun. Because people are here. Let's just have fun with the people. So again, they're often very lively mood. Okay? Whereas the melancholy has a tendency of being pessimistic, negative. The sanguine is very optimistic, very positive. Okay? The example I gave you last week of if my car battery died, the sanguine will see that as an opportunity of making a new friend. Because my car's battery's dead. He's driving by, hey, can you give me a ride? I just got a new best friend. Because we can be in the car and talk about his kids and my kids and his schooling and my schooling and what church do you go to? And I go to this church and what do you do? Oh, you're an usher, I work security. I just got a new best friend. That's what everything's positive. It's raining, oh, I love rain. The flowers need rain. It's snowing, oh, I love snow. The flowers need snow. The sun is scorching hot, killing everything. Oh, I love the sun. It makes me tan. Like, there's no such thing as a bad thing for the sanguine. Okay, everything is positive. Everything is good. They're usually a morning person, again, because waking up, it's an opportunity for a brand new day. Who knows who I could meet today? Who knows how many friends I can make today? This is a great day. There's no such thing as a negative thing for a sanguine. They're very spontaneous. Last week I used the example of let's go out to pizza after class, right? The melancholy, as I mentioned, they're thinking, okay, what kind of pizza place are we going to? There's like 20 of us. What's still open at this time that can sit 20 people? Can everyone afford this? Because depending on where we go, that's like $5 a slice. If I eat 3 slices, that's $15. What if nobody else has $15? What if they don't take card, they only have cash? Do I have enough cash in my wallet? That's the melancholy, right? The choleric decided pizza for everyone. The sanguine's just showing up. They're like, okay, let's go. And then when they get there, they see cash only, and they're like, okay, there's an ATM, I'll be back. And they'll run to the ATM, get money out, because they're not gonna miss it. And they're not gonna miss the opportunity of anything. There's no planning ahead of time. We could be out at the pizza place, and then he goes, oh, you know what movie's out? Let's go. I don't even know what movie we're going to, but we're going to the movies, because there's people there. And then after the movies, we're going bowling. And I don't get home till 4 in the morning, but it's okay, because I made friends. I have new friends now. That's the sanguine. They just people, things. Everything's about color. Okay? Sanguines love color. I will tell you this. And they'll buy things just because it's pretty. I have one of my friends is sanguine. And I remember one time she came home, she bought me something. Like it wasn't my birthday or anything. She just showed up at my house and said, look, I got you this. And it was like a blue plate. Like a small, maybe about this big, blue plate. And I was like, oh, thank you. What is it for? Oh, I don't know, it's pretty. Thank you. What do I do with it? I don't know, I just like blue. Okay. She bought it because she thought it was pretty. It has no purpose. You can't eat off of it. I can't put anything on it. But she thought it was pretty, so she had to buy it. So the sanguines will do that. If it's pretty, they'll buy it. If it's on sale, they'll buy it. They're like, no, they had 5 shirts for $10, so I bought all 5 of them. Same color. But they were on sale. So I didn't pay full price. I mean, you still wasted $10 on something you're never going to wear, but it was on sale. It was cheap. And it was pretty. It's blue. It's red. It's orange. It's whatever. Okay? Just because it was pretty or because it was on sale, they'll buy it. That's the sanguine, because remember, it's all about the feeling. Okay? When I saw this blue thing, it made me feel happy. So I bought it. I don't know what it's for, but it makes me feel happy. So now I bought it, and I have it. And it's in my house, and they're the sanguine is the one that in their house they have knickknacks and dolls and little plates and flower vases and this everywhere in the house. Because it was pretty. So when I bought it, it made me happy, and now it's here. And it serves no purpose other than just sitting there for nothing. But it was happy. It was a happy moment when I bought it. And they don't want to get rid of it either. Okay? So if a melancholy and a sanguine get married, the sanguine has a million things. The melancholy is going, okay, so what's this do? And the sanguine's like, no, leave that, I need that. Okay, but what is it? What's it for? Right? No, I leave it, I need it. Okay. So then, what's this for? I need that one too. They're the same thing. Yeah, but I need both. Okay. The sanguine, again, because it makes me feel happy. So I need it. Whereas the melancholy is very practical. The sanguine is, I need it because it makes me happy. Because when I look at it, it just makes me feel good, so I'm going to keep it all the time. That's how the sanguine is. It's all about the feeling. For a sanguine, everything is about the feeling and the people. Okay? Now, just because everything is about the people, that also makes them very compassionate. Okay? The sanguine will have a lot of compassion for people. This is great, especially in the ministry, because the sanguine will be the one out in the corner bodega preaching to the drug addict. Why? Because I love people. And I don't want you to be lost in the world. I want you to feel loved. You're important as a person, as a human, you're important to me. So they're the ones out in the street preaching to just anyone. Remember, they'll talk to anyone. So they'll just stand in the street, hello, perfect stranger. And they'll start conversation with you about your kids and this, and eventually they lead you to Christ. Because they love people. They're very compassionate. The sanguines are the ones that will cry with you. If you're sad, call a sanguine, they'll be sad with you. They'll cry with you. Half the time, they don't even know why they're crying. They're like, I don't know. That's how he was crying, so I'm crying too. But that's because they feel with you, whatever you're feeling. If you're happy, they're happy with you. If you're sad, they're sad with you. Very compassionate people. But they're also very undisciplined. Okay? The sanguine, one of the weaknesses is that they are very undisciplined. That's their biggest weakness. They are not goal-oriented at all. Why? Because it's all about the feeling and the people. Not the job, not getting a goal, not getting a task done. Okay? In general terms, again, I'm speaking general terms. Not everyone has different situations. We all have different temperaments. We all grew up different ways. But in general terms, by book, a pure sanguine wouldn't reach a PhD. It takes too long. Think about it. Because it takes 4 years for a bachelor's, 2 to 3 years for a master's, 2 to 3 years for a doctorate. We're talking about 10 years of school. That's too much time for a sanguine. I don't have that much concentration, right? Again, in general terms. So the sanguine, they'll just get a bachelor's and that's it. So, because it's all about the people. Whereas the melancholies and the cholerics, they'll go for a PhD. Melancholies will have 3 or 4 PhDs because they like studying. They like thinking, right? So I have 1 PhD, but I need to learn more. I need to know more. The choleric, if they have 2 or 3, is because they're trying to prove something. It's because maybe when I was young, he told me, you'll never amount to anything. And now I can go back and go, hey, I have 4 PhDs. How many do you have? Right? That's the choleric. The sanguine, 10 years in school? With no life? No movies? No friends? Oh, no. That's not a good feeling, so it's not happening. Okay? So they're very undisciplined. They're not really goal-oriented. They rarely profit from their mistakes. The sanguine will keep making the same mistake over and over again. Okay? And this is because I was happy when I made the mistake. Yes, I regretted it, but I completely forgot about it, so I did it again. Okay? The sanguine, in general terms, has very short-term memory. I don't remember yesterday. Yesterday's gone. Today's a new day. New mistakes are being made. New decisions are being made. They won't learn from their mistakes. And they don't like to plan or prepare ahead. These are the ones that I mentioned last week that are trying on every outfit in the morning. I wake up today and I tried on 5 different shirts. And when I was officially at a time where I'm like, all right, now I'm late, I guess this is what I'm stuck wearing. Why? Because I didn't think about whether it's going to rain, it's going to be hot, it's going to be cold. They just try everything because they don't like planning ahead of it. Because I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. I can't decide, tomorrow I'm going to wear black pants and a blue shirt, because what if I don't feel like blue? What if I feel like orange? What if by the time I get to lunch, I don't feel like orange anymore? Now I feel like red. And this is why they'll go to Walmart and buy 5 shirts, because it was on sale and I didn't like the shirt I was wearing, so I bought a different one during lunch. Like I took my lunch time to go to the store to buy a different shirt because I didn't feel like it anymore. Because it's all about the feeling. Okay? But this also makes them very emotionally unstable. Okay? They don't focus on facts. They focus on emotions. And remember, emotions can change. Right? I mentioned this before. I can be very happy because class is going great. Then I go outside and it's raining and now I'm really sad. But then my friend drives by and says, hey, let's go get coffee, and now I'm really happy. But then I get to Starbucks and they don't have my kind of coffee, so now I'm really sad. But then they're like, look, since we don't have coffee, we'll give you a free whatever, sandwich. So now I'm really happy. See how emotions can change? That's what makes the sanguine unstable, because since for them it's all about the feeling, every decision is being made on how they felt, which is why decisions are all over the place. There's no facts. They're not thinking about the facts. They're not thinking about the consequences. Okay? This also makes them very unproductive. They're very disorganized. They're easily distracted. Okay? A sanguine in inclusion will walk away in the middle of a conversation. And they don't do this on purpose. It's just, I saw something better over there, so I'm going over there. Or I'm talking to you about a book that I'm reading, but then I hear her mention Starbucks, and I'm like, Starbucks? What? So now I'm in this conversation, but then he said something about a movie, and I'm like, oh my God, I love that movie. And they'll walk away from a conversation just because something more interesting came up. Now think about it. How does that make other temperaments feel? If you're melancholy, if you're talking to me and I just walk away in the middle of a sentence, that's rude, right? To a choleric, that's rude. To a supine, that's rude. But the sanguine doesn't even know they're doing it. Because then when you say something like, hey, I was talking, oh, were you? Okay, no, yeah, go ahead, what were you saying? And now they're interested again. But they never realized they walked away. My friend that I mentioned that bought me that blue thing, she'll do it all the time. All the time. Hey, Natalia, what are we doing today? Oh, I was thinking, where you, okay. And she just leaves. And then I'll call her out. I'm like, hey, I was talking. And they'll apologize, and they're serious about, oh my God, I'm so sorry. No, go ahead. I'll listen this time. This time, right? And they're sincere in their apology. They do actually mean it. But they'll do it again because they don't learn from their mistakes. Okay, so I broke your heart. I'm sorry. I'm back. But I'm probably going to break it again tomorrow because she's talking about Starbucks, and I really like Starbucks. And then he's talking about the movie, and I really like that movie. I mean, that's my favorite movie. Okay? That's the sanguine. They'll just, because it's all about the feeling and the people. Okay? So, again, they're very unproductive. They're very disorganized. They're easily distracted. They operate more by emotion. This is what makes it hard for them to focus. They have trouble focusing because, what am I feeling right now? Am I feeling like actually teaching this class? Do I feel like even sitting in this class? Right? So it's all about emotion. But they're also very active. They're very active. They move around a lot, but they're not productive. Okay? The choleric is very productive. The choleric will get a lot of jobs done. They're not perfect at all. They're like maybe 50% perfect, if even. But they're done. Okay? The melancholy only completes one task, but it's perfect. Okay? It is the best project you've ever seen. The sanguine never completes anything because they'll start 100 projects and never finish. Because I decided I'm going to learn how to knit. And I started knitting, and then I got bored. So I decided I'm going to learn how to play guitar. And I learned 3 notes, but then the guitar's not cool anymore. So I'm going to learn how to cook, okay? So I went to one cooking class, and I didn't like the teacher, so I decided I'm going to learn French. So now I'm taking French, right, back and forth. and they never finish one thing. Because I got bored, there wasn't enough people, I didn't like the teacher, I didn't feel like being there, I didn't like the feeling of the guitar strings on my fingers, everything about the feeling. So they'll move a lot, like they look like they're doing a lot, but they never complete anything. So again, they have, they're very outgoing, they're very responsive, they're very warm. So let's talk about it in inclusion. What do you think? So what's inclusion again? Social settings, right. So inclusion is your social setting. So what do you think is a sanguine in a social setting? People. The people. These are your greeters in the church. These are the ones that when you work, let's say you walk into the bank, you know how some tellers will be like, good morning, welcome to the bank, how can I help you, right? The sanguines are the ones that, good morning, how you doing? My name's Natalia, what's your name, how can I help you? Okay, to all the melancholies and the cholerics, okay, I'm here to just get a job done. Can I just have my money? But you don't need to ask me about my life. But to another sanguine, a new friend, I've made a new friend. They love it, they love making a new friend. So in inclusion, the sanguines, it's all about the people. These are the greeters at the church, the ushers at the church, the ushers that know everybody's name, that's a sanguine. Because they know everyone's business, because they talk to everyone. These are the ushers that are like, welcome to church. You can sit right here. This is the best view. Oh, pastor's teaching this message on this, and that, and they know everything. Okay, that's a sanguine in inclusion. They'll talk to everyone, and they want everyone to talk back to them. Now, the sanguine has very high self-esteem, just like the choleric. So when a sanguine is rejected, they just move on. They're not going to go into that downward spiral into that depressive state like a melancholy. Why? Because they have very high self-esteem. Not as high as the choleric. Remember, the choleric has really unhealthy high self-esteem. The sanguine has a healthy high self-esteem. Okay? The choleric is unhealthy because they have a tendency of thinking they're their own God. The sanguine, no, the sanguine loves everyone equally. Okay, why can't we all just get along? So, in control, what was control? Decision making. Okay, so what is an interesting fact about the sanguine in control? So the sanguine gives a lot and wants a lot. How does that work in control? Right, so what we say, right, it's all about the emotion. Remember, it's all about how I felt. So a sanguine in control, we say that has a pendulum tendency, okay? A pendulum, you all know, is like a weight that moves back and forth. You know the old clocks, like the tall clocks, the thing that moves back and forth? That's a pendulum, okay? It's a string with a weight at the bottom, and it moves back and forth, yes? That's what a sanguine will do in control. One day, I make all the decisions. The next day, you make all the decisions. The next day, I make all the decisions. The next day, you make all the decisions. Okay? A sanguine, and that's very interesting, and you guys need to know this. A sanguine in control has a pendulum tendency. So depending on how I feel, remember, it's all about the feeling. Depending on how I feel, either I make all the decisions or you make all the decisions. Now that to others can look crazy. Let's think about it. Because what if you have a boss like that? A boss or teacher that comes in and goes, all right, everybody, shut your notebooks. We have a quiz. No talking. You're thinking, okay, mean teacher. Why is she yelling at us? But what if next week I shut up and goes, all right, guys, I don't know if I feel like teaching the supine. What do you guys want to do? Right? You will be like, okay, what happened? Is she crazy? Did I miss something? And what if the week after that I showed up, I can't believe last week you guys didn't decide on anything, so now I'm going to decide this. Now you're thinking, oh, yeah, Dr. Natalia has really lost it. She's gone, guys. That's a sanguine in control. It's a pendulum. It swings back and forth depending on how I feel. So today I feel like being the decision maker. Tomorrow I don't. And that pendulum isn't necessarily day by day because it's about the feeling. So it could switch every couple of minutes. It could switch every couple of months. It depends on the feeling. Yeah, so in the morning I could wake up we're doing what I said. And by lunch I'm like, oh, sweetie, what do you want to do? And by dinner I'm like, this is what we're doing. And you're sitting there like, she's crazy. Like, Dr. Natalia is crazy. She really is. And it's that pendulum. Because they give a lot. Remember, express is action. So their action is a lot of action, a lot of reaction. See how that works? So they give a lot, want a lot. I express a lot. In return, I want a lot. See how that works? Now, God, in his infinite wisdom, in the entire world population, only 2% of the population is sanguine in control. Thank God. Thank God, because if not, we would all be crazy. We would all be going crazy. So God, in his infinite wisdom, has only made 2% of the population sanguine in control. So at least we're good, guys. In that sense, we're all good. So let's talk a little bit about affection. Now, what's affection? Deep personal relationships. So, what happens when a person wants a lot and gives a lot? A lot of expectations. Expresses a lot, wants a lot. A sanguine in affection gives a lot of love, gives a lot of attention, wants a lot of it back. I want as much attention as I'm giving you. I want as much love as I'm giving you. Strength and weakness together. It's a strength because unlike the melancholy, they'll tell you they love you. Remember I said the melancholy doesn't tell you? The melancholy will do the task. And the melancholy doesn't want to say, I love you, because what if he doesn't love me back? Right? The choleric only says I love you when they want something. Okay, because remember, love is in my own terms. So if I say to you, I love you, it's because I'm going to ask for something. Because it usually goes, you know that I love you? Like, do you know that I love you? Okay, because I need a coffee. So, milk and sugar, thanks. Right? That's the choleric. The sanguine, I love you. But if you don't say it back, I love you. If he doesn't say it back, I love you. The weakness, they'll look for a lot of love and attention in the wrong places. Because I just want attention, good or bad. You know, in Hollywood and actresses and all that, they always say there's no such thing as bad press. All press is good. You know, if they're talking about you, it's good because they're talking about you. That's how the sanguine is. So one of the biggest weaknesses of a sanguine, and we're all adults here, is that a sanguine has a tendency to cheat on their spouse. Because if I want a lot of love and attention and I'm not getting it, I'm going to look for it somewhere else. So I always say to someone who's a sanguine, get a dog. Because a dog will love you no matter what. A little puppy, oh, trust me. Your puppy, your little dog is going to love you forever. To all the sanguines I know, I tell them, get a dog, get a cat, get something that's going to love you, to give you that love and attention. Why? Because that's what a sanguine needs. okay? They need a lot of love and attention. And it doesn't always mean it's a sexual thing. It's an emotional thing. It's all about feelings. So when I say cheat on their spouse, I'm not saying sleep with someone else, okay? But you can emotionally cheat on someone. If we're married, I come home, not once does he ask me, how was your job, how was your day, what happened with your boss, how was that meeting? He knows nothing. But my neighbor down the street, how was your day today? What happened with that meeting with your boss? Oh, what happened with that project? And I'm telling her everything. My husband knows nothing, but she knows everything. Who am I having a stronger relationship with? The person I'm talking to, right? So when I say cheat, I don't necessarily mean physically. It could be emotionally too. But you can't blame it on just the one person. You can't blame it on him for not asking, because maybe he's a melancholy. This is why I always say the fault is both of ours. He didn't ask, but I didn't tell him to. I automatically went to someone else. See how that works? So the sanguine needs love and attention, and they'll look for it wherever it may be, in healthy or unhealthy ways. A healthy way could be go to the gym all the time. Because every time I go to the gym, the trainers talk to me, the other people working out talk to me, we're all working out together. It's a healthy thing, right? But it can also be in an unhealthy way. Every time I go to the bar, I have friends. So now I'm going to the bar every night. Because they're asking me about my job. They're asking me about my boss, about my meeting. So just like with every temperament, how I mentioned with the choleric being manipulative, or the sanguine, the melancholy being genius prone, every strength can be a weakness, and every weakness can be a strength. At the end of the day, it's how we use it, how we use our own strengths, how we use our own weaknesses, and how we ask God to speak through us, how we ask God to use us. Yes? Any questions on the sanguine? So next week, we're going to do the supine. Week after that, we have phlegmatic, and that covers the 5 main temperaments. So then the last 2 weeks, we're just going to wrap it up with blends and compulsives. So I will see you guys for supine.